And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Saturday Night Wine Stream and another exciting episode of Drink with Rick. I'm Rick, and tonight we are going to open the wine that I promised we'd open last week, and we're going to open it this week. This is another FitVine wine, and this is a cab this time. We've opened one before. It was a Pinot. I rather liked it, and this was a recommendation from my friend Stephanie, and we're going to open up this one tonight. Took me a couple weeks to get it in, but we got it thanks to Winestore, and we're here. We're ready to go, and so we're going to try it out and see if it's every bit as good, maybe better than the Pinot. We'll find out. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. If you're just joining me tonight, this is for the first time. This is Drink with Rick. This is a show about wine, and it is a show about us, you and me. This is not about me, it's about us just having a good time together on a Saturday night. So just kick back, relax, open up your favorite libation, whatever it is. If you don't drink wine, that's fine. If you don't like reds, that's good. This is a red. You can drink a white or a rosé, whatever you want, a sparkling wine. If you don't like wine at all, that's good too. Open up your favorite beer. I like beer too. So open up your favorite beer and try it. If you're not into beer, any alcohol, or, well, if you like stronger alcohol, open that up. If you're not into alcohol at all, do something non-alcoholic. Coffee, tea, water, it's all fine. It's all good. I have some water here, as a matter of fact, and I sip on that occasionally. So it's all good. Just sit back and join me or relax, join in the chat, and let's just have a good time together on this Saturday night. We are, of course, we are on Facebook, and you can join in on Facebook and on our Facebook page at Drink with Rick. You can join in on the chat on YouTube. Go to Drink with Rick on YouTube, our YouTube channel there, and you can chat with me there. I've got the chats open tonight. Twitch also, you can join in on Twitch. It's under Food and Drink. And it is Drink with Rick 1. Drink with Rick, the number 1, all together, all one word. And you can join in there in the chat. And, of course, on our website at drinkwithrick.com, you can watch live there. Now, we don't have a chat open, but if you click on the post for this episode, you can comment in the comments below the video, the live stream going on there, and you can comment there, and I will respond in kind. We're also on Twitter. If you like to watch on Twitter, go to Twitter. You can comment there as well and message me there. And I have Twitter open, and I'm monitoring all these. So, like I said, feel free to join in. Of course, if you don't want to watch the stream now, or you missed it now, you can watch it later. We have it up in post later, so you can watch it then. And you can also listen on the podcast. Catch the podcast. The podcast goes out on Monday nights, 10 p.m. on Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. You can listen to the podcast on demand anytime, anywhere. As a matter of fact, you can subscribe. You can. Here's a list of all the places you can subscribe: Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Deezer. You can do it by email. Put in your email, and it will send you the latest episode. As soon as the latest episode comes out, you can do that. And this is all available at drinkwithrick.com. Go to drinkwithrick.com, and you can subscribe to the podcast there directly. We are we can be found pretty much wherever podcasts are available. You can, of course, also comment. Send me your comments, send me your recommendations on wines. If you're a sponsor, you're looking to sponsor a show, hey, I'm right here. Or you send me a free wine to review. I promise I'll give it a fair review, unbiased, fair review on the wine. You can send all this to Rick at SavoyaMedia.com. It's Rick at SavoyaMedia.com. That's the email address. So anyway, so that is out of the way. Let's go ahead and introduce tonight's wine. Let me check. Before I do that, sorry. I accidentally punched the wrong. Oh, wow. I was grabbing for the mouse and I hit the Stream Deck instead. My bad. Sorry, folks. If you're in the chats right now, let me check the chat before I start. And CM Cinder's in there. Hi, CM Cinder. I'm glad you're here. And say hi to me and tell me how you're doing. Let's see, anything else going on? Not a whole lot going on anywhere else. I think it's kind of quiet on this Saturday night, and it's not expected. Saturday nights lately have been a little bit quiet. I think folks are just getting tired of being shut in on a Saturday night, and they're looking for something to do, which is completely understandable. I get that. But if you're out and about, please wear a mask, wear a little bit of protection, not just for you, but for others around you. Be considerate of everyone. And I have something to say about that later tonight, but we'll save that. We'll save that. In the meantime, let's get to the wine. This is a FitVine Cabernet Sauvignon. This is a 2017. This is a FitVine. Basically, it is kind of an organic wine. It's naturally fermented and naturally aged, and we'll find out more about this as we go along. But this is the Cabernet version. We tried the Pinot Noir about a month ago, and I rather liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So we're going to take a look at this one. This is the back of the wine, and I'll go ahead and read the back of this label for you. It says, "We crush grapes, you crush life." It says, "FitVine was born when friends got together to make wines that fit into their active lifestyles. With rich flavor and low residual sugar, FitVine won't hold you back. If you're looking for a wine that champions the way you want to live your life, crushing it at work, at the gym, and at home with the family, drink with us. FitVine." This is 14.1% alcohol by volume in this 750 milliliter bottle, and it is vented and bottled by FitVine Cellars in Lodi, California. Yes, this is a Lodi wine. This is a California wine. So we're going to open it up. We're going to try it out. Now, this is the alcohol content's a little bit higher on this one than it was on the Pinot. I think on the Pinot it was, I think it was 13 point something, 13.9 maybe. 13.4 perhaps. I don't remember exactly, but it was around 13%, so it was a little bit lower. So I'm a little surprised this one is that high. But you know, Americans like higher wines with higher alcohol content. We found that a lot of folks here in the States like to drink their alcohol with their wines with higher alcohol content than is consumed in some other places. So I don't know how true that is. That's just what I've heard. But that because we have so many of these wines out on the market on the shelf with higher alcohol content, I would not be surprised if that is the case. Anyway, so we are going to open this wine. Also, we're going to pair it with some foods. And tonight, my lovely wife, Chi, has prepared a little dish for us to pair it with. We have some burger, some grilled burger, and we have some sausage, some beef summer sausage. Let's see if we can get a closer shot of this. Let's see. We have a couple of cheeses. I think this is I'm not sure what this is. It's not our Trader Joe's Gouda. I think this is a cheddar. No, it's not a cheddar. We'll find out. I'm going to taste it. And this is a Colby, and we have a Pizzelle. I love Pizzelles. Pizzelles, I'm sure, would be good with this wine. So we're going to try that out and see how it works. Anyway, let's open the wine, and then we'll find out a little bit more about it. And to do that, this is I'm going to have my foil cutter here. We'll use the traditional foil cutter. And we got that open, the foil cutter. And of course I have to use my corkscrew. And I'm going to put it down here so that I don't have an accident. That would be a very unhappy accident. And I've had a few happy accidents in my life. I think spilling the wine like this would not be one of those. And let me put it down here too. Open that. Oh, I guess I should do it, shouldn't I? All right. There we go. Whoa, that's a healthy pop. I hope I'm a healthy pop. That's a joke, son. Okay, so we have the wine open, and to pour it, we have this beautiful Galway Irish Crystal glass that was given to me by my employers at bytwobeerradios.com a couple of years ago. And of course, I don't want to forget our handy aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set, which, by the way, is available for purchase on Amazon. And if you want to purchase one, there is a link on the website where you can actually purchase the whole set. And anyway, we're going to go ahead and pour this just a little bit. And it looks like a fairly dark-bodied wine. We'll set that aside. We're going to let it breathe for a minute, and while it's doing so, let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about this wine. Now, I looked it up online. Yeah, I'm getting some aromas here. Interesting. We'll get back to that in just a moment. I looked around, and on this FitVine, the Cabernet, I did not find a text sheet on it, as they call them, but I got a little bit of information on the wine, and of course, aside from what they have listed here on the bottle, which really doesn't tell us much, it's supposed to be a little bit on the oaky side. We'll find out, and it's supposed to pair well with beef, lamb, some gamey dishes, and some chicken, poultry, maybe a little duck, that kind of thing. So we'll find out. We'll find out. I did not find a whole lot of other specifics on this wine, except people seem to like it okay. It gets 4 out of 5 stars, and at the where is this? This is TotalWine.com. Of course, I don't know if I really trust the ratings on Total Wine all the time, to be honest. And there's nothing bad about Total Wine. It's just I found that if you some websites like Amazon, there are people that kind of gain those ratings, and so I kind of take those with a grain of salt. I like to read the actual comments on the ratings. I don't necessarily just like to go by the ratings themselves. I like to read the comments to really get a better idea of just how legit that rating is. And anyway, so on let's see, we're looking at here, winesearcher.com. It's available for $11.98 a bottle in Wine Library in Springfield, New Jersey. Allendale Wine Shop in New Jersey is at for $11.98. $12.97 Woods Wholesale Wine in Michigan. Wineworks Online in New Jersey, $12.98. A lot of places in New Jersey listed here. Saratoga Wine Exchange in New York, that's $158 a case. It comes to $13.17 a bottle. Let's see, anything else in here? Universal Fine Wine in Spirits in Florida for $13.98. And Lucan's Wine and Spirits in Florida, $13.99. And let's see, High Time Wine Cellars in California, $14.95. International Wine Shop in Connecticut, $14.99. It's starting to go up a little bit here. And there is a ShopRite in Wines and Spirits of Chester in New Jersey, $15.99. It starts going up when you get to Michaeltown Wine and Spirits in New York is $19.99 a bottle. So it looks like the highest I've seen this for is about $19.99, about $20. Now on the FitVine website, they have it listed for $15.99. And I'll tell you what I paid for it in just a moment. But first, let's check the chat. In the chat, anything going on in the chat here? Nancy is in the chat. Nancy says, hi, Rick. And hi, Nancy. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. And tell me what you're drinking. Tell me how you're doing. If you're not drinking anything, that's okay, too. Just sit back and relax and have a good time. We're going to have some fun here. But anyway, I'm glad you're here, Nancy. And if Tom is with you, too, hi, Tom. I'm glad you're here as well. My wife, she says, she's in the chat. She says, smoked cheddar from Trader Joe's. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Chi. It's smoked cheddar from cheddar. That's what this was right here, the smoked cheddar from Trader Joe's. So that's what we're going to try. We're going to try a little smoky. I don't know if that's going to be the best for this cab, but we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. If it'll work with some gamey foods, it might work with the smoked cheddar. Let me check to see what else we've got going on Twitch. Nothing else at the moment. I think it's kind of quiet. YouTube's kind of quiet. So let's stick on Facebook for a little while, and then we'll also we'll delve further into this wine. We're going to give it a taste. I think we've given it a couple of minutes to... Oh, I almost forgot. I was going to tell you what I paid for it, okay? I've got the receipt here from Winestore in Blakeney. And according to my receipt, it is... I paid $13.99 for this 750 milliliter bottle of FitVine Cabernet. So it's $13.99. So it sounds like that I paid. Now, I had to special order this one because they don't normally carry it there. But they can order just about any wine you want. They'll check and see if it's available. And if it's available, they'll order for you. That means I think that was about the median price from what I saw, what we were looking at before. About a median price. So it's definitely under $19.99, so I'm happy about that for sure. So without any further ado, let's give this wine a whiff. And is there anything else going on here? Nope, not at the moment. Okay, let's see if this gives one a whiff and see what we've got here. And I am getting some. Let's see. Right off the bat, it smells a little smoky, not much. I'm getting a little bit of. Actually, I'm getting a little bit of earthy tones on the nose, and a little bit of cherry. I want to say, or is that black cherry? I think it's a black cherry. Yeah, it's not real. It's not real flowery or anything like that. Let's see what it tastes like. Okay, quite a few mix of flavors. A little. I'm getting a little, some dark fruits in there. Maybe a little blackberry, black cherry, a little bit of plum, but I'm also getting a little bit of some earthy tones to it, and it is a little bit oaky. I was told this wine is a little on the bold side. It's not as bold as I would have expected of a cab. It's actually a little bit lighter than that. It's not light, but it's a little bit lighter than what I would have expected from a Cabernet. But it's not bad. It's not. And there are some tannins. I want to say it's kind of medium tannic. It's not a whole lot of, more tannins than the last wine we had. That's definitely for sure from last week. But it's not super tannic. It's not a lot of tannins, but it's there. They're there. It's, let me see. Definitely dry and a little kind of medium acidity, but it has a very light finish. It's not a lingering finish. It does not linger. It goes down. As it goes down the throat, it just kind of there's really not much of a finish to it, which is interesting because I've had some cabs that have had some nice long finishes to them, and this is not one of those cabs. It's not a bad thing. Now, some people don't like super bold wines with long finishes. If you're not that type of person who does not prefer that type of wine, then this is probably an okay wine for you. I like long finishes sometimes. It kind of depends on the mood I'm in. There's sometimes when I like, I expect the wine to be kind of light and not have a big finish. There are other wines that I expect to be able to just taste and then have a bit of an aftertaste where I can enjoy some of those flavors on the end. And, it's not one of those wines. You know what? I'm going to give it another taste here. Yeah, a little leathery, I should say, a little oaky. I want to say there's a hint of tobacco taste as well, but not a whole lot. So it's kind of there a little bit, but it is oaky. Um, and like I said, the tannins are kind of medium on the medium side, so it's not really tannic, but it is dry. It's definitely not a sweet wine. This is a dry wine. If you don't like dry wines, then you might not like this wine. But if you prefer dry reds, this is probably okay. I think you'll probably like this. Now we are going to try this with some foods in just a moment. Before I do that, let me check the chat one more time. See who we have in the chat. CM Cinder's still there, and very quiet tonight. Chi says there's a lot of people watching on Twitch and messages too. Well, how come I'm not seeing that? Oh, interesting. Why am I not seeing the messages on Twitch? I'm looking at the I'm looking at the users in the chat. I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. I missed that. Let's see. Let me go back here and see if I can fix that. I don't know why I'm not seeing that on. All right, let me see if I can fix that issue. Stream chat, there we go. Whoop. Well, I'm not seeing these. Here we are. Okay, now I got it. I'm sorry, folks. Apologize for that. So Dark Noodle's in the chat. Dork Noodle, I'm sorry, and Dork Noodle says, that's nice. Okay, he's talking to CM Cinder. That Square Guy is in the chat, and the Square Guy says, mobile data, let's go. And I'm glad to see you both here. Add Me Friend 1 is here. Yes, Add Me Friend 1, I can read you now. I couldn't, for some reason I thought it was turned on, it was not, it was going off on the side and I didn't see it. I apologize for that, folks. But Add Me Friend 1, it's great to see you too. I'm glad you're here. And yeah, for some reason I was just missing that segment of the chat. I don't know what was going on there. A little technical difficulties there, but I think we got that worked out. Red Jeep Man says, greetings from Australia. Well, greetings right back to you, Red Jeep Man. That's the thing too. I love Australian wines. I do. I'd like to get more of them in here. Some of the places that I buy wine from carry a few of them, and I've already had all those. So I'm looking for new wines from Australia. But if you have one that you can recommend, I'm all for it. If you can recommend a good Australian, but I love a good Australian wine. We have tried a few in the past here on the wine stream, and I really enjoy those. You know, another thing I like are wines from South Africa, particularly Pinotage. I have really come to enjoy a good Pinotage wine. Those are great. We've reviewed a few of those in the past as well. As you can see, the bottles behind me, just in case you're curious, these are all the wines. Every single bottle of wine we have opened so far in our 68 episodes of Drink with Rick. And a good time was had with, well, okay, there were a few that I did not care for in the reviews, but those were few and far between. A lot of those wines I really did enjoy. Polo of TV says, greetings from Montreal, and greetings right back at you. I'm glad you're in here in the chat with us, and tell me what you're drinking or what you'd like to be drinking. Dork Noodle says, I love your setup, Rick. Well, thanks, Dork Noodle. I appreciate that. It was a long time coming. We worked on it for quite a while, just fixed it up as time goes on. As a matter of fact, if you go back to the first stream where I was just doing it for fun, and I'm still doing it for fun. But we go back to the first stream, and there really wasn't anything to the backdrop. And then we just sort of built it up over time. When I say we, my son Tommy helped me with quite a bit of this, and he did a great job helping me out with them. And as a matter of fact, he and his friend Nick, who are the hosts of the Q Command contest, helped me put this table together, this desk together when we got it in. And I'm really glad we got this desk. Let's see. Lodek says, I prefer a good sangria with sausage on, Rick. Well, nothing wrong with a good sangria. Nothing wrong with those. It's been a while since I've had one, But you know what? There are some people that really, really love sangria, and they prefer sangria over pretty much any other kind of wine. I know a few people who just that's what they drink. That's all they drink is sangria, and nothing wrong with that at all. That square guy he says, let's see, have you tried Brown Brothers? No, I have not. But I tell you what, if you can send me a link, I'd be interested in taking a look at it. And Nura Cup says hello from North Korea. Really? Are you from North Korea? Really? Seriously? Okay. Well, I think that's great. Welcome to the chat. Let's see. Admi Friend 1 says represent Pyongyang. Red Jeepman says, I'm about your vintage and also enjoy wine, all Australian, of course. Well, you know what? I'm saying about my vintage. Yeah, my vintage is. Hopefully, I'm not past my prime yet, but I tell you what, it's great to meet a fellow wine drinker of my vintage. And all Australian. I tell you what, my sister-in-law, or I would say former sister-in-law, because my brother died when he passed away a few years ago. She was married to him, and she's since remarried, but she was from Australia. Really, really fine family there, and she's just a great person. She really is. Anyway, Polo TV says, I'm French, but I don't really like wine. I prefer cocktails like mojitos. Nothing wrong with mojitos. And nothing, yeah, that's true. Too wholesome here. A mojito drink, I would say. Mojitos. Okay, we'll stick to that. We're talking about mojito drink, okay? Dark Noodle says, let's see, Red G-Man's daughter and that square guy's sister-in-law. I'm 22. I don't really drink, but I do like to taste whatever mom and dad are having and appreciate wine from afar. There's nothing wrong with that either. My daughter Tia is, she's not really a wine drinker. She's tried it. She really doesn't like it too much, but she's not really a wine drinker. So let's see. Let me check the other chat here. I don't want to get carried away from Facebook either. Okay. Well, anyway, Chief, thanks for letting me know about the messages in Twitch. I tell you what, I kind of messed up there tonight, didn't I? But I'm glad you're all here. That square guy says, like I said earlier, I have a drink with you, Rick, but a bit too early there. Let's see, what time is it there in Australia, down under there at the moment? It's probably early in the morning, isn't it? I think it is. Or let's see, what time is it? Is it 12 hours, 13 hours behind? Half noon. Okay, it's half past noon. So 12. Okay. So you're about 10 hours. 14 hours behind, I think, right? Anyway, let's see. Anyway, the wine. Oh, I was going to do the tasting, and then we'll get to the birthday celebrations. Let's taste this a little bit. I have, because it's getting kind of cold on me, I have a burger here to taste. We'll see how that works with this. Now, burger should go pretty good with a good cab, especially a grilled burger. I think this one was pan-fried, but it's a good burger. Let's see how it tastes with this. There's enough smokiness in this burger. I think it works pretty well with the oakiness of the wine. It's not bad. Not bad. I think it's okay. But I tell you what, if we're looking at smoky stuff, let's try the... I'll just use my hand here. Let's try it with this beef summer sausage. It might work better with the summer sausage. We'll see. Although, we should have a few more tannins in here for that. But, we'll give it a try. It's not bad. Okay. You know, I like this with the summer sausage. It's not bad. I like it with the summer sausage. Pretty good. Let me clear the palate just a little bit, and let's try it with the cheeses. Now, so far, I'm liking the pairing with the wine with the meats, which is not surprising because cabs go with a wide variety of meats. Smoky cheese. Let me see how this works. I'm not 100% sure with the smoky cheese. Depends on the cheese. It's okay. It's okay. I could have it with the smoked cheese. Not too much of it, but I could do that. Do it. Let's try with the Colby. The Colby, I don't think there should be a problem with. A good Colby should work okay with this cab. We'll give it a shot. It's okay. It's not bad with any of these. It really isn't. But I would say I think I like it best with the sausage, the beef summer sausage, and I kind of like it with the smoked cheddar. I actually like that combination. It's okay. So let me clear the palate once again for just a moment. See, I am drinking some water here. Yeah, I like that. We might try it with the Pizzelle later on. But for right now, let's get right to the birthdays because I love to toast birthdays. We're going to be toasting birthdays and national days. And I tell you what, anyone else in the chat, if you've got a birthday coming up or an anniversary or something like that, let me know. I'll be happy to toast it with you, to toast it right with you. I think that would be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and let me check the chat one more time. Let's see. CM Center says it's a mildly spicy sausage that's kind of sold seasonally. Yeah, and it's not a bad one either. Red G-Man wants to know what's the grape variety. This is a cab, and according to this, now I don't know for sure, but what I checked around, it looks like just 100% cab. A lot of times, a lot of these cabs will be blends, and I found that some of these wines, a lot of these wines that'll just say Cabernet on it, it turns out that they're really cab and maybe Syrah blends or cab or some other blend in there. So I don't know for sure because it doesn't say anything but Cabernet on it. So I'm going to make the assumption that's 100% cab. It kind of tastes like one. I don't really taste really any blends in it per se. Could be wrong, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll check around some more and see if there's any other text sheet on it somewhere. I could find one before, so I'll see if there's anything else that says if it is a blend or not. Anyway, that Square guy says. I think he's talking to CM Sender. Paul of TV, and are all the bottles behind you empty? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Once again, we've tried every one of those on an episode, starting with the one back here, which was the very first episode, and then all the way up to this one right here, which was from last week, which is on the fourth row. There are 4 rows of bottles, actually. We did that one last week, and then the one next to it the week before. So, yes, as a matter of fact, we actually opened 2 bottles in a holiday episode because one of those bottles back there is actually an eggnog wine, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was very good. I really liked it. So, let's go ahead and... Paul of TV says, how many live stream did it take? Well, 60. This is our 68th wine stream, so this is the 68th bottle, actually. Or actually, it's really technically the 69th bottle because we had 2 there. So And that square guy says, I look forward to seeing many more bottles line that shelf. Yeah, so do I. So do I. Well, we're in our second year, so I tell you what, when I went to Winestore at the end of last year, and Matt, who is one of the co-owners, he said, "Well, all right, so you're gonna go for it for a second season, for second year?" And I said, "Yep, I've already committed to that. We're going to go ahead and do it." And he goes, "Oh, that's great. He's great. I was really worried that you weren't gonna keep doing it." And I said, "No, I'm going to do it." Uh, so that square guy says, "Wow, you've been doing this for so long." Well, yeah, it's been a little while. It's been a little while, but I'm having a great time. And I keep telling everyone, as long as I'm doing this, as long as I enjoy doing this, I'm going to keep doing it. You know, it stops being fun, I'll quit. But as long as I enjoy doing it, as long as I can, I'll keep doing it. And we do this every Saturday night on the Saturday Night Wine Stream. All right, so let's get to the birthdays, because that's going to be a lot of fun. I want to say, first of all, before we get to the birthdays, let me get to a graduation, a special graduation for a special friend of ours. And this is for Anna, our good friend Anna, who graduated high school. She had her graduation ceremony on Friday, and they actually streamed the graduation ceremony. I caught the replay of it. And I was really impressed because she was also the valedictorian. She was the valedictorian. And it's a small school, but she got really, really high marks. She's the valedictorian, and she gave the valedictorian speech, and it was very moving. It was a very moving speech because she had a difficult time keeping it together because she was very emotional about it, and you could tell. I mean, she talked about her history with all her friends in the school and what she learned and all of her mentors and her family. And it was very moving, and it pretty much almost brought me to tears. But it was a very, very fine speech, and I really enjoyed that. Anyway, I want to say, Anna, I know you've worked hard for the last, for those 18 years of 18 years, what am I saying? For the 12 years of school. Anyway, Anna, here's to you. Congratulations. And I look forward to seeing your endeavors in the future. And, I almost forgot something. Here you go. Whoops, that's not it either. I'm punching a lot of the wrong buttons tonight. Punching all the wrong buttons tonight. Okay, here's to Anna. Congratulations, Anna. Or should I say congratulations to Bart? I know it's an old tired pun, but what could I say? That's what I am. I'm dad. I do dad jokes. That's my thing. Anyway, so back to the birthdays. Let's see. Birthdays. I want to give a birthday shout out to Nick, my friend Nick Terrell. Nick and I, we worked on force together. He's an IT guy, as I was at one time. And Nick, his birthday is tomorrow. No, it was today, as a matter of fact. Today. I want to say Anna's graduation was yesterday. That was Friday. Nick's birthday is today. I want to say happy birthday to you, Nick. Happy birthday. I'm usually a lot more smoother than this on these birthdays. I just, maybe I've had a little bit too much of this already, huh? I don't think so. Well, and I want to give a birthday shout out to my good friend and former boss, Chris Wolf. Chris's birthday is actually this coming Tuesday, but I wanted to give him a birthday toast now. Chris is a very special guy, very special friend. When I started at WOFL, as those of you who've watched the stream and know me for a while, I worked at WOFL in TV in Florida, which was a Fox affiliate in Florida for 12 years. Worked for WRBW, Channel 65 for another couple of years, till I more or less retired from doing TV, broadcast TV. And Chris and I started off. I was the film editor there. I wore a lot of hats. We all wore a lot of hats because it was a small independent station at the time. And Chris started off as a switcher. He was an on-air switcher, and then he moved up the ranks and he became the programming and promotion manager. And so I was later on, I was working for Chris, and we did a lot of great promotions together. He's a great guy. Chris is a great guy. His thing was that because he moved up in the ranks, and we had all worked together. All of us at WFL pretty much had worked together for so many years. We were more like family. And he's always the kind of person that he wanted to lift as many people up along with him as possible. And he was always looking for other talent in the ranks, and always looking to promote that kind of talent. And that was one of his things. And he really had a big hand in helping me in my career there at WOFL. And I did a lot of other things going on. I did some promotion stuff. I did some wrote some promos and things like that, and we worked in some commercials and things, and did a lot of voice work. Did start off doing a lot of voice work later on, and character voices and things like that. And he was very instrumental in making that happen. And I think if it wasn't for Chris, really, I'm not really sure how far I would have gotten up in my career there. So I want to say to Chris, who a friend and a former employer and a mentor to me at WFL, I want to say happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Really, really nice guy, Chris. Let me check the chat again for a second and see. Let's see. What else we got going on here in the chat? Okay. Dork Noodle says, missing. There you go. Dork Noodle says, gotta go. Bye, Rick and everyone. I will be back. Well, Dork Noodle, it was great having you here. Thanks for being here. And yes, come on back. Come on back and visit us. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you being here. Let's see. Let me check Facebook for just a moment. Okay. Nothing going on. It's quiet on Facebook tonight. Busy on Twitch. Usually it's the other way around. It's busy on Facebook, quiet on Twitch. And we have our days here. Who's next? Oh, yes. Ray. I want to give a special birthday toast to my good friend Ray. Rayanne Whalen Johnson. Ray and I work together. She is another person who was a longtime coworker and friend from WOFL. Like I said, we're more like family there. Really, really nice person, and I really enjoyed working there with her, along with her, and the rest of the crew over there in the production department. And I want to say, Ray, here's to you. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! And also, my old friend Nancy. I want to give another birthday shout out to Nancy Rojas. Now, I want to say Ray's birthday is actually coming up on the 21st. That's Tuesday. And Chris's and Rayanne's is actually on the same day. The 21st, which is coming Tuesday. Nancy's birthday is coming up on Thursday, and I wanted to catch that just in case. We didn't. I missed that next week, but Thursday is Nancy's birthday, and Nancy, we're all old family friends. Her family and my family go way back. We went to church together years and years ago. When we were kids. We actually practically grew up together for many years, and Nancy and her brother William. Her brother William and I were. We palled around a bit in our days there at church, and they came over a lot to have lunch with us afterwards and every day. So we've spent a lot of time doing lunches together, and did a few things together. As a matter of fact, her dad, who was a teacher, was also rather adept at working on some vehicles, and he actually did some work on my first car. My first car was a 68 Volkswagen Beetle, and I'd taken my car over to their house a couple of times so he could work on it, so he could patch up some issues with the body and fix up some things with the car. And he did, he went above and beyond. I'll just say that, and I want to say that her dad was a really great guy, and I want to say, Nancy, happy birthday to you, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope you have many, many, many more as well. I think that does it for the birthdays this week. Once again, just in case you're wondering, we're drinking this tonight. This is just as a recap. We're drinking this FitVine Cabernet Sauvignon. It's 2017. That's what I'm drinking, and it's supposed to be a healthy wine for help to keep you healthy. Supposedly, it's supposed to help work for when you're working out. So the idea behind this wine is that it doesn't have as much sugar in it. It's a little bit healthier to drink, so that if you're working out and you're trying to lose some weight, it's supposed to contribute to weight gain. It's actually supposed to help you. I'm not saying that it helps you lose weight. I don't think there are any claims to that, but it's actually supposed to help you keep you from putting more pounds on. So that's pretty much what this wine is about. Well, once again, I don't think I've lost any, that's for sure. And we've had two of these. And I've had the Pinot, and then I'm having this tonight. So I don't think I've lost an ounce to speak of. But I don't know. I guess, what am I missing here? Not working out. I'm not working out. That I should be working out. And I'm supposed to be working out. But I haven't been working out that much. How about you? Who is really a health buff who really spends a lot of time in the gym? I guess nobody's really going to gym right now, but a lot of people working out at home and their Pelotons and whatever else they have. I have a few gadgets here that I can use to work out with, but I really haven't been using any of them lately, and I really need to do that. Really need to get back into that to get back into shape. Let's see. What else is going on in the chat at the moment? That Square Guy says, "Wow, that would be a great first car." Yeah, the '68 Volkswagen Beetle, and that's a classic. I mean, that is a classic car now, and if you can find one that you can fix up and restore, I think it's definitely worth the restoration. Of course, those cars in that era definitely, they're kind of borderline, not even, how should I say? Well, they're still road legal, I should say, but in this day and age, when you have to have seatbelts and all these fancy things in the car now to help protect you from mishaps and collision avoidance systems and all this kind of stuff and airbags and things like that. They definitely couldn't make a car like that now. They definitely couldn't. It wouldn't be legal. They would never be able to get it past not here in the U.S. anyway. They couldn't get it approved for being legal on the road, but just because it lacked everything, basically. It was just a basic car. And I tell you what, if you wanted to start off with a first car and learn how a car worked, that was one of those kind of cars that was probably one of the easiest ones to learn from, because it wasn't much to it. It was like a little bitty engine, and the engine was in the back of the vehicle, and no AC to speak of, not on those old Beetles. And of course, it didn't have those at the time didn't have seat belts. They just had had to hold on to these handles on the side, right? Like that really helps. But my car, the one I had, was rusted out in the bottom. The bottom was rusted out, so it was, and that was one of the things that Nancy's dad would he was working on to repair. He put in these steel plates in the bottom, so I had some place to put my feet because it was completely rusted out. I'd be driving down the road, and at the time I was working at Disney World, Walt Disney World in Orlando, and I would make these long drives down I-4, which is it was still kind of a harrowing experience then, but it wasn't nearly as harrowing as it is now. I-4 is, I think they've listed that stretch of I-4 there between Orlando and between O-Town and Disney is probably one of the most dangerous stretches of roads, particularly around that area around the tourist area. around International Drive. And I remember driving that car back and forth every day. And in the beginning, when I first got this car, the bottoms were rusted out of both the front passenger side and the driver's side, so I could literally look down and watch the road go by under my feet. So I definitely didn't want to miss the brake and stick my foot down there under there, because I didn't want to get asphalted at 60 miles an hour. 55, I think at the time we were restricted to 55 miles an hour. Not that too many people drove. It did follow that at the time. But it was a little bit, a little unnerving. And I remember one night I was driving home a friend from work, and he got in the car with me, and I was taking him home because he didn't have his ride, and he'd had a few drinks, so he was kind of out of it. But I was driving. I was the designated driver, and I was driving him home, and the door didn't close very well either, so the door would kind of like fly open sometimes, and he didn't know about the floor. And at the time, I think this was just before Nancy's dad fixed it, but there was just cardboard covering the floor there, and so he kind of put his foot through the cardboard a little bit, and he saw the road going underneath him. And about that time, and of course, I was flying down the road and going through some curves pretty quick. And this is a little Beetle, a little Volkswagen Bug, which, I mean, when you're taking curves on those things, it's you really need those handles on the side to hold on. And so he was in the passenger seat, and I was driving, and I took the curve to get on the on-ramp. And about that time, he was saying, I think I'm going to lose it. And then he put his foot through the floor, and the cardboard fell away, and he saw the road flying past him at high speed. And at that point, he just got scared, and he really lost it. And he just stuck his head out the window and just threw up out the window. And of course, he did not turn away from, he wasn't looking back. He was looking forward. So you know what happened next, and it was not pretty. It was not pretty. So I have a vivid memory of that. That is one memory that is indelibly burned into my mind, and Well, anyway, we got the floor fixed on that later on, thanks to Nancy's dad. I was doing that square guy says, how fast were you going? I think I was doing about, well, I was going around the curve, but I think I was doing about 45, 50 around the curve at that time. So I was going a pretty good clip. And I want to say I was going about 45. And I was pretty reckless with that at the time, the early days, going through around curves with that little Volkswagen, because the Volkswagen was not a vehicle that was front heavy, because all the weight was in the back, unless you really loaded it down with rocks or something in the front, because the front was the trunk. And it would have a tendency to, really not take curves too well if you're going at high speeds, because you'd have a tendency for the car to lift, and then you really wouldn't have full control over the front wheels. And it was a rear wheel drive, and I did one thing over time. One time I think I was on I don't remember where it was. I was on one of the back roads there, and I almost hit a mailbox because I was going around a curve, and I was taking it a little bit too fast, and I turned the wheel, and the car kind of got going straight, so I almost hit a mailbox. It was lucky that I didn't total it then, but it basically happened to me. I wrecked that car. I totaled it sometime later on Disney property. This was behind Space Mountain. It was on a service road going to Disney on Disney property. It was a service road back there behind Space Mountain. I was on my way. I forgot where I was going. I think I was going to one of the business offices back there to take care of something. So I was in this car, but it had been raining, and it had just finished raining, and I went through this curve. There was this long curve that goes around behind Space Mountain, and I was trying to take that curve, but the speedometer had broken. So I was trying to gauge my speed. I was trying to gauge my speed, but I had no idea how fast I was going because the speedometer had broken at that point. And so I took the curve, and when I did, the car hydroplaned, and my front wheels were not touching the road at all. And I turned, and the car didn't, and I just kept going straight, and I smacked head on into an El Camino coming the other way. And it was amazing. It was an amazing, it was just a blessing that nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt, but it totaled the cars. And at that point I realized, I really, really need to check myself on this when it comes to driving. And it was not a good experience, and it was my fault, and rightly so, because I should have really been a lot more careful taking a wet road on that. But I wasn't really figuring that the car was just going to hydroplane like that. I was only like 20 at the time. I think I was 20, 21, but that's no excuse. And over time, and some classes at the defensive driving school after that, I learned about how to drive more safely and more defensively. And that was a lesson I learned the hard way. It could have been bad. It could have been my last mistake. It's very possible that if things went just a little bit, didn't go just like they did, I may not be right here in front of the camera in front of you right now. It's very, very possible. So I'm thankful to be alive, and dumb things that you do when you're young, and it's no excuse. I mean, people make mistakes, but and dumb ones, but. You just kind of have to learn. It's best to learn from other people's mistakes. And I'm relaying this story. One of the reasons I'm relaying this story is because, if you're younger than me, or even my age, or older, doesn't matter. I mean, people my age still make dumb mistakes. We still do dumb things. But I think if you can learn from the mistakes of other people, I think that's a good thing. And learn from my mistake. And that's one of the reasons why I'm relaying this, because look, don't do this. Be careful when you're driving. That Square Guy says, scary to think, but I'm glad you're here with us. So am I. Cheers to that. Thank you very much. So let's see. I think that was pretty much. I wanted to mention briefly a couple things. I wanted to mention briefly the podcast awards. As you know, every year we have the People's Choice Podcast Awards. It's put on by Todd Cochran and friends. Todd Cochran is a friend of mine, actually, longtime friend. I've been a longtime podcaster, 14 years this month, 14 years it's June, last month, 14 years as a podcaster. And from my son, same thing, same month, but he celebrated his 10-year anniversary as a podcaster. So he's a second-generation podcaster. Yeah, and I'm considered one of the OGs in podcasting. So yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. I started in 2006. But every year we have the podcast awards. Not me personally. I don't do the podcast awards, but Todd Cochran and company over at Raw Voice. They do the podcast awards. People's Choice, and it is the first. And if you've heard iHeart, now iHeart did this last year, and I think they did it again this year. Made a big deal, made a big splash about the first podcast awards, the first annual podcast awards, which was absolutely untrue because iHeart did not invent the podcast awards. These guys did. the first podcast awards were held very early on, and they've been doing it every year. This is the 15th year for the podcast awards. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is because this last year, of course, the one I do for my day job, the Two-Way Radio Show podcast, was nominated for a podcast award in the tech category. Now, we didn't win, but it was pretty cool just to be nominated, because when you think about, there are 197,000 active podcasts supposedly out on the internet. To pick out 10 podcasts in 12 different categories for that sort of thing is that's something. There's something to be said for that. Anyway, the podcast awards are held every year, and this year, my son Tommy, his podcast, Cube Command podcast, a tech and gaming podcast, and he does some things on pop culture and gaming. He and his co-host Nick Hernandez, and they've been doing this for several years now, and they are in the running for the podcast awards. And what I'm asking everyone tonight is, if you can, sign up. It doesn't cost you anything to sign up. It doesn't cost you anything to nominate. But you can go to the podcastawards.com site. It's podcastawards.com. Sign up and nominate Tommy and Nick, their Cube Command podcast, for this year's 2020 Podcast Awards. Now, their show, Cube Command. Now, this is Savoya Media's website. Cube Command, of course, with Drink with Rick. We're all on the part of the Savoya Media Network, and his Cube Command podcast, which has been going on for several years now, and this is a list of all the shows that we've done in our collectively 14 years. I mean, I've been doing it for 14 years. He's been doing it for 10. But we did a show together called the Free Stuff Show, and I currently do the Tech Jobcast and the Jobcast podcast as well. And he started off, his first show was the Tia and Tommy Show. That's back when he was 10 years old. He and his sister Tia. Tia was, I think, 12 at the time. He was 10, and they did the Tia and Tommy Show podcast. But they've been doing this for quite a while. His current show, Cube Command, you can find it at cubecommand.com. This is their podcast that he and Nick do. And you can go there if you want to check it out. Check out the show and see if it's something that you might be interested in nominating. If you like the show, please nominate it for this year's People's Choice Podcast Awards. Once again, this is the Podcast Awards website. I'm not in the running this year for anything. Thought about Drinker with Rick, but maybe next year. We might do that. And of course, if you're a podcaster, if you're interested in podcasting at all, if you're interested in learning more about podcasts, you can attend the PodFest Global Summit. That's going to be August 10th through 15th. This is an online thing. What they're basically doing is they're trying to set the Guinness World Record for the largest virtual podcasting conference in the world ever. They're looking for up to 100,000 people. So there are some free tickets. Okay, there are different tiers of tickets. There's also a free tier where you can get tickets for free. So it doesn't cost you anything to attend if you're interested or if you're curious about doing it. So check it out. And that's going to be August 10th through 15th. That's at podfestexpo.com. And there are links in the show notes for for Drink with Rick, for the Drink with Rick podcast, and on the website at drinkwithrick.com if you want to check it out. Anyway, that's all the podcasting stuff. I've done a lot of. And that Square Guy says, wow, so many podcasts. Yeah, we've done 10. I've done 10 about 10 different shows that I've produced and hosted and co-produced and co-hosted over my 14 years. Also, there are other shows that I have also guest hosted on. I've done some episodes of a show that was sort of an anthology type podcast for the Tech Podcast Network called TPN Weekly. And so we would all cycle through there and guest host on it, take turns doing that. So I did that. And my friend Norbert Davis, Totally Cool Tech, I think that was one of the most fun guest hosting experiences I think I've ever had, was doing that, the Totally Cool Tech podcast. I did that one time, and I had a great time doing it. It was a lot of fun, and Norbert was really cool about it, and I want to thank Norbert for that experience. By the way, thank you, Norbert. A good friend, Norbert Davis. And let's see. Yeah, I've done a lot of podcasting in the years, and of course some streaming, and Tommy and I, of course, have done the Free Stuff Show for a while, and we did a lot of reviews, YouTube reviews and things like that, unboxing videos and things like that we've done over time. But my day job, that's pretty much my day job. What I've done is the Two-Way Radio Show. I've been doing that for 9 years, the Two-Way Radio Show. It is, I would say, the longest running show about two-way radios in general. I mean, there are a lot of shows that cover ham radios and things like that, but we're the longest running show, as far as I know, of two-way radios in general. So that's something that I'm quite proud of. Also, by the way, speaking of which, we had some pretty serious storms tonight, by the way, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do the podcast. The podcast too, the wine stream tonight, because it just kind of ended before I got before the stream started. Anyway, the weather season, it's always weather season, but the tornado and the hurricane season is pretty much in full swing. And if you don't have one, get a weather radio. Every chance I get, no matter where I am, I always try to really impress upon people about the importance of being prepared for weather emergencies. Coming from Florida, being from Florida, I have ridden through a lot of weather emergencies. When I worked at Disney, as a matter of fact, I rode through a couple of hurricanes, and Disney would do something where if a hurricane was coming through, they would pretty much close the park down, but they had to have a skeleton crew there to kind of manage things and keep an eye on things and make sure nobody was looting or no damage was occurring, that sort of thing. So they would ask for volunteers. They couldn't make anybody do it, but they'd ask for volunteers to stay, and what they called the ride-out crew. We were the ride-out crew. And I would volunteer, having lived in Florida for most of my life. I was aware of how dangerous this could be, but the money was good, the pay was good, but I think in a way it was kind of the excitement of being on the ride-out crew. There was something kind of dangerous and exciting about it, and so I would volunteer for the ride-out crew there at Disney, and so I would go in there, and for like 24 hours. You pretty much had to be up for 24 hours, and you had to ride out the storm, make sure all the hatches were battened down, so to speak, and everything was secured, and kind of keep an eye on everything. And then, if there was anything that came up emergency-wise, we had to be prepared to deal with that. But that is one of the things I did, and I did that on one or two occasions. One in particular that comes to my mind that was really, really interesting, and that's another story for another time. But it really impressed upon me the respect I had for weather and the importance of being prepared for a weather emergency. Now, at Disney, we had places where we could go where we could be safe from that sort of thing. But a lot of people don't, and there are a lot of places that don't. Now, we have a designated area in our home that everybody knows they have to go to in case there's a tornado or some emergency like that. And when we have an emergency pack that we have prepared in case something like that happens. But too many people don't, and I've seen too many instances of people that have been stuck in a sudden emergency, and it's bad. It's pretty bad. So I implore everybody to get an emergency weather radio. Get together, go to first of all, go to ready.gov, and put together an emergency pack. Okay? The third item, guess what the third item is in an emergency pack? Yes, it is a radio. It's food, water, or water, food, and a radio. The third item is a radio, and I think the fifth item is a two-way radio. So you got radios in there twice, I think, last I checked. Anyway, an emergency weather radio, very, very important to have. Of course, we sell them at buytwowayradios.com, and like I said, whoops, that's the wrong one. I keep popping up the wrong ones. It's one of these. There we go. It's that one. I don't know. I'm staring right at the Stream Deck, and I still can't push the right button. I mean, maybe I have had too much of this. I don't know. But anyway, this is Buy Two Way Radio's website. We sell a lot of different kinds of radios, including weather radios. And now, let me be pretty clear on this. I work for Buy Two Way Radios. I'm the product manager for Buy Two Way Radios. But I am not getting paid to do this. Okay, this is not a paid endorsement for Buy Two Way Radios. I'm doing this because it's more of a public service. And yeah, I get to keep my job. But the thing is that with, where's the rest of my, oh, here it is. With the weather radios, and my family will tell you, and my friends will tell you that I am really, really big on weather radios and weather preparedness. I am a licensed ham radio operator. Both my son and I are, and we are both trained weather spotters, and and I do from time to time participate in the weather spotting on ham radio. And our family's also GMRS licensed. So we are fairly active in weather emergencies from time to time. So as someone who does this, from that perspective, this is why I'm saying go get a weather radio. Now, and these are a bunch of weather radios available on buytwowayradios.com. This is one of the radios that I use that we've got this is actually the radio we have mounted on our wall downstairs next to all of our other emergency stuff and everything else. Our weather station, we have a weather station, a lot of stuff going on. And as a matter of fact, it went off not once but twice today. And as soon as it went off, one for our area, we were on the alert because we had some severe weather blowing through. Fortunately, we didn't get hit with anything too severe. They were talking about hail, and we were kind of concerned about that. And 50-mile-an-hour winds. We didn't get quite that. But we did get some heavy rain. But we were prepared. You just never know when that stuff's going to happen. You just don't. So that's our weather radio. Anyway, we do have. My boss has authorized me to offer, and like I said, I don't make any money on this. Okay, it's just something I'm doing. We do have a promo code for viewers and listeners of Drink with Rick, and that is Wineshow. 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 You make a purchase of a weather radio, you can save 5% off your order off your purchase at Wineshow if you put it in the promo code section in the during checkout. Now, it's not just good on the weather radios. It's good on anything. It's good on GMRS radios, ham radios, if you have a boat, marine radios, airband radios, all that kind of stuff. Any kind of radio, any radio accessory, it's good for. 5% off your entire order. So take advantage of it. Please take advantage of that. Once again, I'm not making anything off that, okay? It's just something I'm doing because I want to do it, and I want to give you something, and I want to say, employer, please get a weather radio. So that Square Guy says, you worked at Disney. Yes, I did. I worked for Disney for 9 years. For 9 years. I was thinking about getting my 10-year pin, but I did not I went ahead because opportunities came up at WFL at the time. At one time, I was working 2 full-time jobs. I was working at Disney full-time, and I was working at WOFL full-time. And that did not leave me much of any time to sleep or do anything else. I took cat naps from time to time between jobs and sometimes in the car, but it didn't leave me much. And I did that for a little while. I worked 2 full-time jobs at 2 different places. I did that for about, I want to say I did it for about a year. Seemed longer than that. And it got to the point where I just could not do that anymore. So I said, I got to make a decision. I got to go move. And I really wanted to go to work in television. So I sort of put in my 2 weeks at Disney, which was interesting because they weren't expecting me to do that. They figured I was a Disney lifer. I know some folks at Disney who were Disney lifers. My good friend Ed, who just won the book that we gave away a couple of weeks ago, he was basically a Disney lifer. He had a whole career at Disney, a great career, and retired a couple of years ago. And Ed, a great guy. I met Ed at Disney, as a matter of fact, and we became roommates and lifelong friends, and just a great guy. Ed's just a great guy. And I met so many friends at Disney. Met a lot of interesting characters, too, and I'm not talking about the ones that are in the suits, okay? I met some of those, too. I knew some of those, but there were a lot of characters at Disney, I'll say that much. But I did meet some really fine people there. And anyway, that is my life story. I didn't want to go long on that. But, yeah, I could tell some stories. There are some stories I could tell. All right, so it looks like I lost my feed at Facebook. I hope we're still on Facebook. I lost my feed there. We're still on Twitch. We're going strong on Twitch. Let's see. What else we are here? This is Periscope and Twitter. We're still on, and things are looking pretty good on YouTube. Although we don't have much traffic on YouTube. I don't expect that much really. We're gonna wrap this up here now. But I tell you what, before we go, there are a couple of things. I want to give a summary on this wine, and I also want to try it with the Pizzelle. Pizzelles are, if you're not familiar with what a Pizzelle is an Italian cookie. This is an Italian cookie, and I have a lot of fond memories of this because my dad used to have a Pizzelle iron, and one that used to have long arms that would go into the fire, and you'd make the Pizzelle batter. As a matter of fact, he has his own family recipe, old family recipe for Pizzelles, which I have somewhere here. I've got to find it so I can make some one of these days. But the Pizzelle iron, the one he had, you'd put a little bit of batter in the irons, kind of like a waffle iron, but it was like you'd make one at a time, and you close it up in the iron, and then you stick the iron over the fire for a few minutes, and turn it over one side and then the other, and it was designed for that. It was designed to be cooked over the fireplace, and then you'd have the cookies, and he'd make a big batch of these, and they were always wonderful. I love Pizzelles, and my cousins, Pete and Denise, a few years ago, I was reminiscing about it one night, and Pete says, "You know what? Let's see what we can do." So they went up and they found not one but 2 Pizzelle irons. Now these irons were not the kind that you could stick in the fireplace, but they were the kind that you could stick over the stove, and you could heat up the stove and heat them up, and they were still hand Pizzelle irons with stems, these long handles and everything. You could do it. Now I have both of those, and they were really, really kind enough. It was just it really touched me that they went out and found those for me. Those are collector's items these days, but brings back some great memories, and I want to have the chance to learn to actually use them some point and pull out my dad's old recipe that he actually hand wrote it down for me some time back. I've got to find it. I misplaced it somewhere. I've got to go find it, but I know it's around here somewhere. And so I can make some on my own. In the meantime, these are store-bought, still good. They're very low calorie. I think they're like 80 calories for I think a pack of these things. I think they're like 7 or 8 in a pack. They're pretty low calorie. we're going to try one with the wine. These things actually generally go good with wine, being Italian. I'm going to try one now with this cab. Oh yeah, brings out the vanilla and the English flavor in the anisette. I think what it is, and I'm not sure. I think it's a vanilla flavor. I like that. It's very good. It's very good. I think it would go really fine with a Valpolicella or a Chianti or a I don't know. Let's see, Montepulciano. Any of those kind of wines. It go fine with some nice Italian wines with this, because this is basically an Italian cookie. So anyway, that's pretty cool. I like that. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have for tonight, and I think we're going to close it up. That Square Guy says they look tasty. They are very tasty. They're pretty low calorie. They're not really that high in sugar. So, but it's more like, kind of like a biscuit, but they're really, really good. I really enjoy them. And you know what these are good on also, these pizzelles? If you get a bowl of ice cream, and then you stick one of these with the bowl of ice cream, like get a bowl of vanilla ice cream or something, or chocolate ice cream, or strawberry, or whatever, Rocky Road, whatever your favorite ice cream flavor is, stick one of these, or maybe two, or break one apart maybe in half and stick one on each side and have it with the ice cream. It's really, really good. I really enjoy that. Of course, the ice cream is going to add a lot more calories to the total count, but who's counting, right? Who's counting? So anyway, that's pretty much all I have tonight. And here's my final review before we wrap this up for the evening. We have been drinking, once again, we've been drinking the FitVine. This is a 2017 Cabernet Sauvignon from California. This is a Lodi, California wine. It is 14% alcohol. As a matter of fact, 14 point, what did it say here? Missed it here. 14.1% alcohol by volume. And as we all know, from doing these wine streams for 68 episodes, the posted alcohol content is not necessarily what's in the wine. It's usually considerably higher. So this could be 15%. Could be 15.5%. Who knows? Maybe higher than that. Who knows? This is it's supposed to be all Cabernet Sauvignon grapes, but like I said, I'm going to have to do some studying on that and see if I can verify that, because I can't really verify that. Could be a mix. It could be a blend of some sort. But I'm assuming it's 100% Cabernet right now. Anyway, it's my final review on this. I think it's a pretty decent wine. I think I like the Pinot, the FitVine Pinot. I think I liked it better. And it was I think it was roughly the same price as I recall. I paid, what did I pay for it again? What did I pay for this thing again? It was $13.99 for this bottle, and that seems to be a medium price for it. And as far as you know what we didn't do the national days. I forgot about that. We didn't do the national days. We did not do the national days. I completely missed that, didn't I? Well, just to let you know, July 18th is National Sour Candy Day, National Caviar Day, National Strawberry Rhubarb Wine Day. I definitely missed that. That's July 18th, that's today. And that's the third Saturday in July, and National Toss Away the Could Haves and Should Haves Day, which is also the third Saturday in July. I'll drink to all those at once, just so I can say I did. July 19th is National Daiquiri Day. Who doesn't love a good daiquiri? I like a good daiquiri. It's been a long time since I've had one, but I like a good daiquiri. And National Ice Cream Day is the third Sunday in July is National Ice Cream Day. Okay, I'll drink to that. Now, the reason I'm going back to that for just a moment is because next Saturday night is National Wine and Cheese Day. So we're going to do something with wine and cheese next Saturday night. I'm not sure what wine we're going to have picked out to do that with, but I want to make a big deal out of that. So we're going to have a national wine and cheese tasting. We'll do some wine and cheese tasting. That sounds good. And hopefully I can get the Trader Joe's Creamy Gouda that I love so much back for that one. In the meantime, once again, my final recap on this wine is kind of it's not super bold, but it's a little bolder. It's not really light. It's kind of a bolder wine. It's somewhat tannic, not too bad. It's not, and this tannic is not bad. Okay, let me make that clear. Tannic is not bad. It's just that some people like tannic wines, some people don't. I like to have some good tannic wines with the right foods. It is a fairly dry wine, and it is kind of medium on the acidity. It has I think it's kind of oaky. I was tasting in the very beginning. I was tasting some blackberry and a little hint of plum. And I was actually getting a little leather in there, but it is kind of an earthy wine. It's kind of an earthy wine, not too bad though. Not really earthy. Not too earthy, I should say. It's kind of earthy, but not too much. So if you don't like earthy wines, it's good a median wine, a median cab for you. I would say it's not the most impressive cab I've had, but it's not a bad cab either. It really isn't. But I do think I like the Pinot better than the cab. I will say that. I'll put that on the record. I think it's good to have with some foods. It paired okay with the burger. I liked it. I liked it with the sausage. I really did like it with the beef summer sausage. It was okay with the smoked cheddar. The what was that other thing I had? The Colby Jack. It was okay. Yeah, it was okay. But I think I liked it better with the smoked cheddar. Anyway, that's my final review. I would say for $13.99 a bottle or for $15.99 a bottle. I wouldn't pay $20, okay? I would not pay. I think if you're paying $20 a bottle for this, which is what I saw on some sites, I think you're overpaying for this wine. I'll just say that. I think you're overpaying for it. But for about $15 a bottle, I think that's probably okay. That's a decent medium price for this wine. I'm pretty sure some people will really, really like this wine. So I think that's my final review on it. I want to say thank you to everyone who joined me in the chat tonight. And let me check Facebook first. Facebook, I want to... Oh, Ed's in the chat. I missed it. You know what? This thing is not scrolling down. For some reason, this chat is not scrolling down. And I apologize for that, folks. You know, it used to do that all the time in the old Facebook. And now, since the new Facebook... Since Facebook has redone all the streaming and everything like that, I just don't like it much. It doesn't do that. I have to manually scroll this thing down to see the latest in the chats. Ed says, so Ed's joined us in the chat. Ed's really great to see you. Ed says, I remember when your glasses flew out the window, too. I remember the bottom of he says, I remember the bottom of your car, and I remember when your glasses flew out the window, too. That's right, they did. Oh, man, that's another story. I'm going to have to do that one next week. Let me make a notation about that, because and it happened a couple of times, actually. I think it happened once with Ed in the car, and it happened another time with Jim in the car, or maybe it was the same time. I don't remember. But it was... Ed says, you talked the judge into ordering you to take the driving course, as I remember. Yeah, I had a choice. I had a choice in the driving course. I had a choice to either to either take the hit on paying the fine or doing the driving course. I think is what he gave me a choice, and I chose the driving course, and I kind of lucked out on that. And I'm glad I did, because I think everyone should take a driving course, a safe driving course. I think it really is. At least when I took mine, it was eye-opening and it was sobering, and at the same time, it really, I think that everybody should take it. Everybody should take a safe, defensive. It was a defensive driver course. And you know what, Ed? You know what? I was looking through my a box of some stuff last week, and I found your script. that you wrote for Hercules, and those who don't really know what's going on, it's okay. I'll talk about that another time. But in that box, I found the original pamphlet and everything for the defensive driving course. So that is really, really weird, isn't it? It's just it's a coincidental, but it happened about at the same time. But I took I kept the original booklet with my notes and my everything else from that course that I took for the defensive driving course, which was in Florida. I still have it. I don't know why I keep it. Maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe it's a superstitious thing or something. But I still have that. And Ed says, received Start Ugly and Coaster and Pen 2. Thanks, Ed. It's great. Thanks for contributing. Thanks for entering the contest. And for those of you who don't know, we do contests here from time to time, and I'll give away stuff. A book I read, or I've got another one that I want to give away at some point here. The Crushing Debt podcast does my good friend Sean Yesner. He wrote a book also called Crushing Debt. Really nice book. I really enjoyed the book, and I learned a few things in the book. I learned a few things that I wish I had known before. He's very good. He's an attorney. He's an attorney that handles debt and handles foreclosures and things like that. But a very knowledgeable guy and a good friend and a fellow podcaster. And I met him several years ago, the first Podfest I went to, and just a great guy. And he wrote this book, and I read it, and I've got a signed copy from him here too. But I was thinking about doing that next, maybe giving away a copy of his book there. I'm behind on my reading, so I've got a couple of other books that I want to read and do a book review on at some point. But we're going to do some more giveaways. We're going to do some more giveaways coming up, and there's something else that I want to mention just briefly. I'm in the process of trying to transfer all of my old 8mm films. Now, about a month or so ago, I showed clips from a film I made when I was a kid, an 8mm film that I did called Attack of the Bubble Creatures. And if you're not familiar with it, if you're interested, you can go back and check it out. Go back and check it out. But since then, I have been really looking into archiving and trying to do restoration for all of my films, my entire library of films. And I sent a few away. I've been on a 2-year search looking for someone who could do this with the best quality. And I think I found a guy, and he's in the process of transferring. I sent him 3 of my other films that I did back in the day, and including The Analyst, Ed, including The Analyst. Analyst was one of those 3 films. And he's in the process of going over them to transfer them now. I don't want to say too much because, like I said, there's some things that we kind of figure out, how much of this is archivable and what can be done and everything like that, costs and things like that. But if things work out well, I'll be sending some more films his way, and I may be showing some of these. I've thought about it, and I'm thinking, what would be fun to do is to do a fall film festival on the Saturday Night Wine Stream. So I figured, if I can get some of these transferred and restored, I can and digitize. I might be able to do a fall films festival, like a film a week or film every couple of weeks on a Saturday Night Wine Stream. I'm not making any promises right now because, like I said, we're still working out some technical things on it. But if it works out, we may be doing that. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I think this will be a lot of fun for everybody, and it'll be the first time they've ever been seen before on the internet. The first time ever. So, anyway, Ed, I'm glad you received the Start Ugly book, The Coaster and the Pen, and enjoy them. Enjoy them in good health. And I want to say thank everyone for being on in the chat with me tonight. I want to thank Nancy and Tom, if he's there, for being with us on the chat. My lovely wife, Chi. Also Ed, and over on Twitch, I want to thank, a lot of people to thank here on Twitch for being here with me tonight. I got to go up to the beginning. Laudic, and that Square Guy, and Red Jeep Man, and Dork Noodle, and who else? CM Cinder, and Polo TV, And did I miss anybody? I hope I didn't. I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, every one of you, each and every one of you is important, and I really appreciate each and every one of you for joining me on this chat tonight. Polo TV, I did mention, and let's see, no Noor R Cup. I want to thank you for being here on the chat tonight. And who else is joining me here? That's Cromped. Chromopt. Thanks for being in the chat as well. And once again, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me. I want to thank you for being here tonight. Once again, the show isn't about me. It's somewhat about the wine, but it's mostly about you and me. You and me being together and just hanging out and just having a great time. Thank you for being here. Please do not drink and drive. Please do not drink and drive. As we're all kind of stuck at home for the most part, that's kind of hard to do anyway, I guess. But I don't just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not a good idea. Please do not text and drive. Please do not text and drive. That's extremely dangerous. Because I want you to have a great week, and I want you to have a safe week, so you can all get together and join me next week for the Saturday Night Wine Stream, and we can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night.